Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Aditya, founder of Call Your Shots Coaching. With over 15 years of experience at Fortune 200 companies like Amazon and Salesforce, Aditya brings a wealth of corporate leadership and technology expertise to his career coaching practice. He's passionate about empowering professionals to master interviews, build confidence, and take strategic control of their career paths. Aditya, a very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Zach. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here and go through my journey and what I've learned and share what I know.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great episode. I do like to start from the beginning a little bit. So we touched on it. You were at Amazon, you were at Salesforce. Before you got into career coaching, walk us through what you were doing and what was your inspiration to become a career coach?
Yeah. So like you correctly summarized, I think a big portion of my career was between two large Fortune 500 high-performing companies like Amazon. I was there for 6 years. I was at Salesforce for 7 years. But if I were to go back to the start of my journey, I started off as an engineer. Then I didn't really like coding, and I was probably an average coder. I wanted to work with people and launch products and work with customers. That's the part that was really exciting for me. So I changed my role to become a technical program manager. So vast majority of the role that I've held is around program and project management, but I've also dabbled a little bit in marketing and product as well. But yeah, I consider myself a builder. I like to build things from scratch. I like ambiguous problems. Give me a one-line requirement and I want to go break it down. And I've enjoyed just working on Alexa. I worked in Amazon retail. I also worked across Amazon's first ever Kindle devices. We had a secret building and special badge access and everything. So those were fantastic experiences that really shaped my career. But throughout the course of my career, I've always, been someone who was a mentor, even at my companies. I was a mentor at Salesforce as well as Amazon. I was also a people leader. So I derived the most satisfaction helping other people. So when I reflected on what does the next half of my life look like, this is an itch I need to scratch. I want to go help people in a more broad scale. That's when I decided to sort of jump in and start my own company. Because every time somebody used to reach out to me and say, hey, thanks to you, I got an interview call, or thanks to you, I got a job offer. That feeling was just amazing. I said, this is something I want to double down. I want to spend more time on, and then, just help where I can.
I love that. And you have the interview skills, you have the networking skills, you got those big jobs at Salesforce and Amazon. So there's so much to do there. And I'm sure you have great stories. And I'd love to ask about that private building, but I'm sure you're under NDA for the rest of your life. So I won't. But let's go ahead. Let's dive into the present. Can you walk through what does working with you look like? Who are you working with? All of that good stuff.
So at the moment, so my company has been around only for a few months now, and I'm a sole proprietor, so I don't have a team with me at the moment. So still early days, trying to ramp this up and take it to the next level. So what I focus on is really a lot of one-on-one personalized coaching. I'm helping people just really go through their challenges. I do a big discovery to understand really what it is that they're faced with, what are their strengths, what are the limiting beliefs, and just get a proper understanding before we dive in and do if it's a resume update for some people it's a LinkedIn makeover. Some people it's just, everyone tells them to do networking, but no one knows how to do it actually. So I kind of have an entire curriculum just based on how do you do networking. I will even pull up my own messages and show them how exactly this can be done. So the focus is really, how do you help people transition from where they are to something else? So I brand myself as a career transitions coach. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're looking for a change, you are a business analyst, you want to be a product manager, or you're trying to just get to a leadership position as an individual contributor, just trying to get promoted, trying to get more visible, whatever it is, there's just a variety of different options I have in terms of my offering. But I'm starting to go more into group coaching because scale and everything, and also trying to figure out corporate partnerships as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So a lot of one-on-one work right now. And it didn't sound like it, you were in tech, right? Amazon, Salesforce, techie. Are you currently mostly working with people who are in the tech space or helping them get into the tech space? Or is what you're teaching, is that really just applicable to any career path?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So largely it's been tech people who are coming to me because that's probably what they're saying. But there have been people who have reached out who are non-tech as well. And these people, if you look at the challenges are largely very similar. Most of the times it is something around storytelling, articulation of their work. It is something to do with just these things are agnostic of what your background is, right? So I don't restrict myself only to tech people. I do think the scope is beyond that. And my clientele is also global. I do have people working with me from Europe. I have a few clients in India, a few in America, and the vast majority of my clients are based in Australia.
Hmm. Okay. How different, and excuse me, I don't know too much about Australia, but how different is the tech space, the tech job market in Australia versus the US? Because I believe you've worked in both, right?
That's correct. I was in the US for about 15 years, and then I moved to Australia, and I've been here for the last 6 years at the moment.
Hmm.
So the tech space is very different. The landscape is very different in the sense that in America, you have a lot more tech companies. I mean, America has incubated a ton of tech companies, especially if you look at the West Coast, which is where I used to live. I used to live in Seattle. There's just tons of opportunities, right? And these are big companies that were hiring on a mass scale. But if you look at Australia, what I've noticed is tech is sometimes more of an enablement function rather than pure tech. There are some product companies, like if you look at the likes of Atlassian or Canva, there's a few companies that have come out of the Australian sort of garages, I guess, but it's still very different in terms of how you see innovation, product development. You don't see that kind of scale like you see in the US. You don't see a big market for that, and you see a lot of people working in banks and insurance companies as a techie. They would go be working on as an engineer or enabling those businesses, but there isn't a ton of pure tech like the way you see in the US.
Hmm. Do you see that changing at some point? Or do you think that'll kind of stay the norm for a while?
I think it's changing right now as we speak because a lot of startups are coming up. There's a lot more, awareness, and I think with also the next generation, they're a lot more inclined to go and build something on their own, right? They're less risk averse. They want to go and try their hand at different things. So I've spoken to so many founders recently, and these are all really young people in their early 20s, right? So I think that is changing, and all of them are building some kind of tech-enabled solution. So with AI coming in as well, I know everyone's just talking about AI, but it is actually creating a lot of opportunities for people to think about everything they do going forward. So I do think Australia is in that sort of that pivotal moment where things are changing, and we're seeing a lot more people, a lot more companies that are being incubated from this place as well.
Good. Good. It's good for tech to spread outside the States, that's for sure. Looking
Yeah.
to the back end of the business a little bit. How are your clients currently finding you to work with you?
So at the moment, see, Australia is generally a small market as well, but also I think a lot of what I've been seeing is organic engagement. I have not run any marketing campaigns. I have not done any paid ads at this point. So whatever has come through because, I probably did a networking event. I went and met a bunch of people and then, something struck with them and they're like, oh, you know what, I want to reach out to this guy and have a chat with him. By the
Mhm.
way, a little plug here. I do a free session anyway. So for people to really understand what it is I offer. Is there a player coach fit? Is that something I can help with? So I do help them with, hey, just bring up your experience and your resume and let's talk about it and see where I can help, right? So it's been a little bit of me physically going and meeting people, and then a combination of that and just referrals, right? People who've already worked with me, they refer me to other people, and then they reach out. So there's also an inherent trust that's built up, and that's actually working really well. But my next step is really going to be to think about how do I scale this. I don't have a landing page yet. I'm working on it. Once that's done, then I think there's going to be more of an automated, systematic approach that I want to bring into the mix.
Absolutely. I have to assume, just because of your background and what you're in, I have to assume you're pretty active on LinkedIn. Am I right?
I am pretty active and I've been posting more recently, although it's been
Mhm.
way outside my comfort zone. I've been posting and it's been good. The traction's been really great. And I've been trying to create value for people where I can. I'm not just selling my services. And that's resonating with people quite a bit. So I'm seeing an increase in engagement and seeing an increase in followers. I'm seeing people just reach out to me randomly and say, hey, that tip was really useful. Thank you so much for sharing that, things like that. So it's moving in the right direction.
Very nice. Very nice. I know the job market in the US is pretty tough right now. Not sure about in Australia if it's the same, but what's a common issue you see that people have when they come to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So if you look at US and Australia and globally, I think the markets are generally not that great. Australia is also, the market's been brutal.
Mm,
So if I look at, and based on my experience, even previously as a hiring manager, because I've hired more than 50 people just on my own, and this was all during COVID as well. And I would get like hundreds of resumes every day, right? And the issues back then in 2019 and the issues now are actually very similar. The common issue that I see is people actually just don't know how to tell their story. They have the experience, they have the ingredients to the recipe, they just don't know how to make the recipe. And that's not something that's taught in college. It's not something that you learn on the job either. So, but it just takes a lot of introspection, figuring out, okay, how do I really get the help that I need to? How do I get the support to make sure that I can do this effectively? And there are frameworks that's going to help you. There are things that people have shared over time that's actually going to be useful. But it's also that awareness, and you cannot expect different results by trying the same thing over and over again. Right? I talk about this spraying and praying. People do that a lot. It's human nature. It's intuitive for you to go and apply to more jobs because you think you're maximizing your chances, but you're actually reducing the amount of the quality of each application, which means you're shortchanging yourself. And how to stand out in this market is really the bottom line. There's too much supply and very less demand. There's way too many people just trying to, I've seen so many headlines that look literally the same. I could put your name on that, Zach, and say, okay, this is Zach now, like, and it would apply because maybe you have a data science background or something, right? So what's going to make people stand out? How are you going to tell your story in a way where someone says, oh, Zach is a great guy. I think I need to have that aha moment when, I'm going to give your resume 10 seconds anyway. In that 10 seconds, are you going to impress me? That's what I'm looking for.
hmm. Tough to do. And I like what you said, right? Job market's tough. Everyone's first thought is, I'm just going to apply to every single job possible. And it's clear from what you're reading, the comments we're seeing from people, that doesn't work. But then again, telling your story in a quick 10 seconds, if you're not yourself or someone like yourself, that's tough to do. So that's where you come into the fold. Have you seen people utilizing AI too much in this process, in your opinion?
Yeah, this is a good one because I've seen AI does a few things which can get you into trouble. As ChatGPT, for example, if you put something into it and you get a response back, it does the double hyphens, the dashes, right? And it also does like a comma before the preposition. So recruiters are likely going to see that and they're going to assume that you've put it through ChatGPT and it's a lack of due diligence on your part, right? So it's a bit risky. So I would say judicious use of ChatGPT is important. The second thing I see people doing is, and it's understandable. I'm not judging. I'm just coming from a place of it's not ideal to use ChatGPT to do your writing. If you outsource your writing, it's almost like taking your brain and putting it away. It is the single most important skill one can cultivate. It takes a bit longer for you to write. I actually think it's okay for you to polish it using ChatGPT, to say, you know what, I've written this blurb. Can you look for grammatical mistakes and things like that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But I think, I've seen so many times the risk that people run into outside of everything that I've mentioned is AI Shakespeare has written something for you. And then I talk to you on an interview call and there's a complete mismatch. So you're going to, even if you succeed in getting that call, you're going to fail in the interview. So it's just too risky to do that. So I would not recommend using ChatGPT for the type of work that requires you to do critical thinking and putting pen to paper. For other things, absolutely. Use it for job searches, use it for understanding the job market. What are the target companies you should be going after? What are some of the things that the tips and tricks that you want to learn? Like if, let's say you're new to Australia and you can ask ChatGPT, what are the Australian cultural norms that I should be aware of? What are the do's and don'ts in this job market? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just about being careful and using it wisely.
Don't lose your human touch, your human connection. That's important.
Absolutely.
I love it. Looking forward to the future a little bit. I know you mentioned you're wanting to bring in some systems, some automations to the business. Anything else, over the next 1 to 2 years, you're really shooting for?
Um, I think, like I mentioned earlier, the corporate partnerships is what I want to
Mm,
target, because I do think there's a lot of good work that can be done there. There's a lot of companies that are actually helping. They bring in students in cohorts, and they try to upskill them and get them ready for the job market and things like that. So I want to build more partnerships on that front with those people and bring in my unique perspective as a mentor working in these companies. So that's my unique value proposition. I've
mm,
been there working in these organizations, so I can bring all that wealth of experience to these companies and help their students actually succeed, right? I can provide that industry sort of mindset if they're graduating from university and moving up there. So that's one piece. From a tech perspective, like you mentioned, I do think I have a few ways to go. At some point, I would see using a good CRM to be able to track, get insights on, what that funnel looks like for me, where are clients engaging, where are they dropping off, what kind of content is actually resonating, what's not. So really getting the business to a point where we have a lot of just forensic information. We're tracking things closely and trying to build from that. So that's
mm.
sort of the focus as far as the business is concerned. But I also personally feel like I need to upskill as well. Especially with AI, I've been playing around with tools like Replit and Bolt. I've been doing a little bit of vibe coding to build my own dashboards for. I'm a career coach, and if I want a one-stop shop for managing my own work, how do I do that, right? So I've been doing and dabbling in that a little bit, but I do think I want to upskill personally, and I'll be a better coach. I'll be a better mentor if I actually can help people future-proof their careers with the advent of everything that's happening right now.
Hmm. Very well said. Big things coming in the future. That's for sure. Aditya, such a pleasure having you on. Where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you online?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to share that separately with you. But yeah, I'm Aditya Rajagopalan is my name. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram at Collier Shorts Coaching. That's where people can find me. And at some point, I'm going to have a website up and going, and then that'll be advertised on my LinkedIn as well, and people can click on that and see what's some of the work that I've done, what's some of the offerings that I have, and see if that strikes a chord with someone.
Wonderful. Aditya, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founder's Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure and go connect. Make sure to go and connect with Aditya on Instagram at Call Your Shots Coaching. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.